Hi, welcome to the Tower House, and this is the main room, which is dating back to the 12th century. It's the oldest tower house in Ireland, and it was used, over there we have a murder hole where they used to pour boiling oil down on unwanted guests in the 12th century. But then in the 13th century, when cannons came in, they used to shoot the cannons from across the riverbank, and that was the end of the murder hole. The beautiful floor we have comes from the oldest wooden bridge from Thomastown, County Waterford, and it was brought up in the back of two cars, plank by plank, and lovingly restored. The restoration was orchestrated by Mike's mum and dad and the late fabulous Clive Nunn, who had very innovative ideas. The walls are lime and whitewashed, and they haven't been touched in 30 years. When they acquired the building 35 years ago, all there was 3 walls and the 2 originally Dundry windows. They're very, very unusual in Kilkenny, because most things in Kilkenny will be made from Kilkenny limestone, and they're not. So that would be quite unusual. And the furniture then is quite in keeping with the period. Lot of preservation orders on here, so it's a beautiful room in the summer, but unfortunately sometimes in the winter Siberia can kick in. So we might address that this winter now and we're taking chunks of the project bit by bit. So that's the story of this main room. Sunroom, which has just been recently refurbed, so we have still looking for furniture. It's a bit sparse looking at the moment, but we love our picture over here. It's a collage by an artist from Clare, Field of Poppies, and it really loves the sunlight, so we love that picture there. And then as we walk out, you can see down in front of us is the old town wall, and behind it then is the riverbank. And then the accommodation is modern accommodation, so we have 4 bedrooms in this block, 2 in the balcony and 2 facing the courtyard, ensuite rooms. And if we walk over here, we see the river views and the sound of the river from the balcony. So quite spectacular views, lovely sound, very relaxing. And as always, I'm a devil for flowers, so there'll be flowers everywhere. As we come back in then, through the main room, we take a few steps down. I want to show you this beautiful door that Clive Nunn created for us. Oh, good. Which is really in keeping, it finishes it off. And as we open that door then, we go down a few steps into our new kitchen. So this would have been an old grain store downstairs, and this is the upstairs. So this is our new kitchen. I'm just waiting on 2 Helen James stools to come to go underneath there to finish it off. And my favourite colour is blue, and as you can see, everything is blue in this kitchen. And being the season of barbecues and salads, I've decided to show you how to make what I call my classical vinaigrette, which is not a classical at all. It's my adaptation, quirky and all as it is, but it's also fabulous as a marinade. So you could marinate your chicken or fish in it, or it's also fabulous if you have little baby potatoes and you already have them cooked, and throw some of the dressing over them and then roast them on the barbecue. So I just have some Dijon mustard, so it's a dessert spoon of Dijon mustard into the bowl, a dessert spoon of honey, so just a tablespoon of honey, tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, salt and black pepper, and then I'm just going to turn on the stick blender, and I'll blend it, and we're going to add 4 tablespoons or 4 dessertspoons, sorry, of sunflower oil, not olive oil. Olive oil will be too strong. So I'll just plug in the machine for a second. Probably could do it by a whisk. It'll help my bingo rings, but I'm not today. So just give it a quick whisk. And then very slowly add the oil. Like if you were making a mayonnaise in a triplet. Now this doesn't like the fridge, so it works best outside the fridge at room temperature, and it'll last about 6 months, but it won't last 6 months, but it doesn't go off. That's just about right now. And then my secret ingredient is I use 2 dessertspoons of cider. I use cider in all cooking. I don't use white wine at all. Now this gives it a lovely, it gives it a gorgeous taste, but it gives it a gorgeous creamy consistency. Right, so that's it now. That's the noisy machine gone away as well. So that's the classical, well, as we said, it's not classical vinaigrette, it's Trisha's vinaigrette. So that's it. So use that as your marinade or use it as your salad dressing. So that's that. Right, so the next dish we're going to do is a summer salad with a chocolate vinaigrette. So it's back to our vinaigrette, and we're bizarrely going to add hot chocolate or melted chocolate to it. Chocolate will be used widely in Spanish, Portuguese and Mexican cooking. But we don't really use it that much in Ireland, but it really gives this salad an extra kick. Okay, so I have some lovely organic leaves from our allotment. Myself and my daughter have an allotment up the town, and she brought these down to me this morning, which I'm delighted with. We have baby spinach, we have Swiss chard, and we have rocket, and we have some pickled beetroot. So that's going to be the base of the salad. So we just put that there for a minute. So I have the chocolate melted here, and I'm literally going to take whisk. And we're going to add the same amount of the vinaigrette to the chocolate. Just give it a little whisk. Just a tiny bit more vinaigrette. And then I'll just give it a quick taste to check. I'm still getting used to the kitchen where everything is. That's part of the fun. Oh, that's yummy. Okay, so that's the dressing for the summer salad. So we have our leaves. And now we're going to add a small bit of panache to that. So what I have is, I have some cherry tomatoes, blueberries, strawberries, peaches, some serrano ham that I have fried crispy on the pan. Out of the way there, you please. So we just put this around like this. Then we just scatter the tomatoes on top. It can be quite haphazard, you don't have to be too exact on it. We might throw the peaches around like this to make it look a little bit prettier. This is a great all-round. Obviously, if it's vegetarian, you can leave the serrano ham out. It's just the crunch of that against the creaminess of the brie. It's a nice contrast, because always in food you need a contrast of not alone flavours but also textures. So that's the peaches. And I'm just going to throw on the blueberries and the strawberries. And then we just literally pull our brie, and this is nice and ripe. It's lovely and ripe, in fact. Now you could use any other cheese, any other kind of soft cheese you want, but this one is from County Tipperary, Coolini, and it's It's a very good product. I like to use Irish product as much as possible, local as well, obviously. But so that's it. Now just give the hands a quick wash. Oops, get up there, you please. And just to finish it then, I'm just going to drizzle it with the chocolate vinaigrette. Now obviously the chocolate vinaigrette has to be made at the last. The vinaigrette can be made, but the melted chocolate can only be added at the last minute because otherwise it'll solidify. So just give a good drizzle of that around. And so we have the Tower House summer salad.
Oh, that is divine.
And our next salad up, I love these salads for barbecues because I'm kind of anti-mayonnaise. I don't like salads with mayonnaise in them because if they're sitting outside, they're a haven for food poisoning. You know, if they're sitting for an hour or two. So I always prefer salads that don't have mayonnaise. So this basically was created by fishermen who would go out in the morning or late at night, and their wives would give them the day-old bread, stale bread, and they would obviously have tomatoes, olives, basil, onions. Now you can also put anchovies in it, but I'm opting out of anchovies. But the basic ingredients are the stale bread, tomatoes, basil, olives and onions, and then you just dress it with a good olive oil. So all we're going to do is I have the crispy bread there, just toss all into the bowl. Good clean hands. And then just tear your basil. Basil doesn't like a knife, it doesn't like to get bruised. So you're better off to tear it with your hands and it doesn't turn black. If you chop it with a knife, it'll turn black in your salad. So a little bit of salt and pepper. And then a good drizzle of olive oil. This is a nice Spanish one I'm using, it's a nice light one. That's it, and we'll just give that a stir. And that's good to go. Very quick, you can make quite large quantities of it. Now obviously you wouldn't make it up too much before time because the croutons will soak up the beautiful olive oil and the flavours with the tomatoes and the basil, so maybe about 20 minutes before you're due to serve. Okay, so that's another one. Okay, but one of the most spectacular because of the colour. Okay, and it's a marriage made in heaven. It's fresh mint, feta cheese, the salty feta cheese, the sweet watermelon, and some onions just for a little bit of sharpness, and drizzled with olive oil. Now you don't put any salt or pepper in this because there's enough saltiness in the feta, and if you did put salt in it, it would draw the moisture out of the watermelon and make it very sloppy. Now this again needs to be made about an hour in advance only. She's not a laster, but there won't be anything left, I can guarantee you, because once it's so refreshing once everybody tastes it. So then just finely sliced onions, chopped mint. Mint is as easy as peasy to grow in the garden. It makes an awful now you need to grow it in a separate pot because it's inclined to be very selfish and it overruns everything else, so grow it in its own pot. Okay, and then just a good drizzle of olive oil. Mix everything up, and then we're going to rock with third salad. So basically that's the 3 salads that we have, and they're made in jig time. You know, there's very little prep in it. Okay, maybe chop the watermelon, etc. But visually on a buffet table or beside a barbecue, that salad, and it's fabulous to taste as well.
Delicious.